Hello guys, so today I'm going to do what I said I would do. I'm going to review the Windlass 15th century longsword. This is it, right here, all the way down to its sheath. Now I'm going to say the blade is, I think, like 3 feet, and then like something long. I'm not exactly sure how long the blade is, but the sword outside of its sheath weighs 3.21 pounds, and then with its sheath it weighs 4-something pounds. Anyways, I'm going to talk a bit about the sword. I guess I'll start with the negatives. First of all, the first thing I noticed with this sword is when it's in its sheath, if you look real closely, it doesn't exactly like fit in perfectly. Like, maybe it does not. It doesn't. It's a little cracked. I don't know if it's supposed to be that way, but it's not like perfect. You know, like even like down there. So it might just supposed to be that way. I don't know. It's not really a big deal though. And then another thing, another negative definitely that a lot of people have brought up is the fact that the blade is a bit too flexible for them. Now, it's not like super like wimpy and whippy, like not, you know, good for use anymore. It's still, you know, a battle-ready sword, but the fact that the blade bends a little bit too much, over time, what happened was it causes like pressure on the tang, and it causes the wood handle to start to crack, and that's the problem I'm having. And because I'm having that problem, I'm thinking about replacing the wood on the handle, with this fiberglass. I'm going to see what I can do. And this is proven to take like more than over 100 pounds more stress than wood is. So this is definitely, I mean, if I can find some way to get this on there, that'll help. And then what else do I have? Yeah, to help me through that, use this epoxy glue that's rated for like steel and concrete. This stuff is like super strong right here. But yeah, as far as, you know, those are some of the negatives, and also because it's whippy, it means it won't cut through things as well. But you mean, if you hit someone with this, I don't think they're going to feel the difference. I mean, this will still do damage, and the fact that it bends more typically makes it tougher, except the cracking. One thing I also noticed is it looks really nice with the, you know, wire clipping and wire grip half, and I don't know if you can see the whole thing, but it's like braided steel wire at the end near the pommel. The pommel is a pretty nice shape as well. It's, you know, an overall nice looking knife. I definitely like this extra loop here on the handles, which protects your hand more, or you can use it as like another way of gripping it, but I prefer this stab, holding it like that. Yeah, it's pretty nice looking. It has a nice, you know, forward running partially way down it. It is really light and easy to maneuver. That's the first thing I noticed is, you know, it's just, super light. It's not hard to hold. It's easy to use. A nice design. And I've cut all sorts of things with it. If you buy it at Cult of Athena and use their sharpening service, garden stick, 2-liter bottles full of water in half, and water bottles in half. So, I mean, overall this works pretty good at just, you know, slicing, cutting things in half. I once threw up like a fresh, non-rotten, non-dry stick of wood that was like this thick, and I threw it up in the air, and I sliced it. I made it almost all the way through, just the skin on the other side. Pretty much it stopped there, and so, I mean, that's pretty good, and it's a nice clean cut as well. I got like an empty, cleaned out bottle of bleach. Well, it wasn't empty, I filled it with water, but it didn't have bleach in it anymore. and it sliced through it perfectly clean and threw that little handle thingy on it as well. And not only that, but I accidentally went through it and it hit like an aluminum stair rail and it actually cut into that really cheap aluminum, which is no surprise. I actually bit into it, so that's pretty good. Also, another down thing I didn't mention about the finishes, it comes with a leather finish here that's super cheap, and with my hand, the sweat, I don't know if this is just my fault, and that typically happens with swords, but like, not only was it really cheap, you could touch it and you can hear it like, it's almost like a rattling sound or something, but when you touch it, it would like squeeze in, you hear it like, it was really weird, but my hand sweat dissolved away at the leather, and it made it look like a weird orange color, so I just wrapped it in electrical tape and made it look cooler and made the grip better, which I'll also do when I replace the handle with this plexiglass sledgehammer handle. I'll just cut it down to the right size and file it and drill holes through it and get it to fit on the tang. So overall, I mean, again, like the handle started to crack and it started to get loose for a while, so it's going to need maintenance. But other than that, this is a pretty good sword. It's decently cheap. I think I got it for like 200 something at Cult of Athena for a pretty low price. So I mean that's pretty good. We'll just hit something. I mean, overall, I definitely recommend getting this sword, especially to beginners when I buy it for the first time. I've never actually taken it apart, but I've seen pictures of the tang. You know, the tang, it isn't very wide, but I think it's a bit thicker, and it's decently good. It's not too small of a tang, so it'll hold. And again, like, I've chopped through all sorts of stuff. I even once accidentally stabbed a piece of wood with this as hard as I could, and it wasn't damaged at all. This thing's been, you know, smacked and beaten and abused. It's gone through quite a lot of stress, like just, you know, chop through wood and stuff like that. So ultimately, I would definitely recommend this. It's definitely a good sword. And it's a little too flexible, a little bit, but it's not severely terrible. You know, it's not so bad that you can't call it a proper sword anymore. And so, I mean, yeah, that's a pretty good sword. Auf Wiedersehen.